All right, so I have a different person in my passenger seat today. Instead of having cameraman JD, I have the Pinal County attorney, Brad Miller's with me. So we always get comments about follow-ups and about episodes and about people that we've contacted that have a criminal nature to our contact. And County Attorney Miller is the guy that has all that information. So while we're driving around here today, we're doing some traffic stops if something jumps out at me. But if not, we're just going to be kind of chit-chatting about the end results of some of our cases.
Yeah, sounds great. I appreciate this. Appreciate the invite. Yeah, I'm Brad Miller, the Pinal County Attorney. So we handle all of the criminal cases here in Pinal County. That includes traffic. We have justice courts all throughout the county. And then, of course, all the major felony cases from every police department in the county come to us.
All right, so if we're going to go in chronological order, the furthest one back is probably one of the most popular, which is episode 9, which we call the Blue Mustang Kid.
Yep.
56. And tinted windshield. Oh, really? What's up, man? How you doing? That's actually not true. See your driver's license.
What did I do?
Let me see your driver's license.
Why are they filming? Mom, come, I'm getting harassed. Don't touch my car.
Getting harassed.
What did I do? I wasn't speeding. I was following my mother.
Okay.
So
Do you know what? Let me see your driver's license.
What was I doing?
I'm not going to ask you again, or I'm going to put my hands on you. Let me see your driver's license.
Dad, can you come here? I have it. Stop. Just give me my phone.
It just seems the internet just doesn't like this kid.
I can see why.
And everyone can see why. So I stop him for a speed violation, end up finding it out he's suspended, issue him a criminal ticket, and then I never ever heard anything else about the case from then.
Yep.
But the internet has been questioning us pretty much since that episode as to what happened to it. So, and I have no idea.
Yeah, we have the answers. But it's interesting, the internet, I think, wants us to hammer this kid because of the way, his attitude. But we take the position, we don't take somebody's attitude into account when we're charging a particular offense, whether it be civil or criminal. And so we took all of the emotion out of it. And it's interesting how strongly some of these people will put up a fight. But once they get issued the ticket and they come see us and they go see a judge, somebody in a black robe, they change their tune. And that's really what happened with this particular kid.
Really?
Yes. He ended up removing his tinting. He got his insurance taken care of. He appeared to be appreciative of the process and respectful of the process. He certainly was respectful to the judge and to our office. And so in that case, he was just issued a fine and he took care of all of his issues and the case was over. I can't tell you whether his mom came to court. That would have been interesting because I know he was begging for his mom. Yeah.
Mom, come, I'm getting harassed.
He really wanted his mom, so it's like, give the guy his mom. But I assume maybe mom helped him. I can't tell you for sure, but I do know that he did accept responsibility. Maybe mom helped that along. Yeah. We'll see. Who knows?
I like it. So this episode, episode 17, which is the kid with the Kanye shoes.
Those are Kanye shoes.
Yes,
Aren't they
sir.
Kanye shoes?
Yes, sir.
You're rocking Kanye shoes?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's
That you know
awesome.
that.
See, man, we're cool, we're hip. Would you feel more comfortable if you took your Kanye shoes off and walked in your bare feet, or would you like to walk in your Kanye shoes?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, whichever you want.
This was a daytime marijuana impaired driver.
Yeah.
My reasonable suspicion for the stop was awesome when he drove over that curb.
Yeah.
So like obviously, and having it on camera is even better. But having that great, articulable, reasonable suspicion that I can at least get up to his window, and then everything that I built from there, I processed him for DUI, and he went away, and I never heard about anything. So apparently, you have the end result.
Yeah, we have the end result. So here, my standard and our policy here in Pinal County is we do not plead DUIs at all.
Okay.
You're going to plead to the charge. We do not allow breaks. We do not allow pleas. If you want to plead straight up, then you can. Otherwise, our prosecutors are prepared to take those cases to trial. Just because DUIs affect so many people, can take so many lives, and unfortunately, I've also been hit by a drunk driver.
So
I was about 4 years ago, head on in Mesa.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
See, I got rear-ended by a drug-impaired driver in Phoenix, probably about 8 years ago now.
Okay.
And totaled my. I was driving a 2500 truck, and it totaled my truck. I got hit so hard.
Well, it totaled my car. He hit me head on. It was middle of the day.
Oh.
I'll never forget the day. on Valentine's Day 2020.
Oh, geez.
Yep. With this guy, same thing. No plea deal. He pled to the charge. He pled to the DUI, and it's very expensive. So that
Good.
he decided
It should be.
He decided to drive around, and it cost him thousands and thousands of dollars. For a typical DUI, you'll be paying fines of about $1,500 plus a $500 assessment, plus MAD victim impact panel, where you actually have to sit with individuals who've been affected and been hit by DUIs through Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
That's great.
Sometimes other people who are also in that same position that are guilty of driving under the influence. So you're part of that panel, and you have to listen to victims who have actually been hit, or victims and parents who have been killed by people. So that's another $500 that goes to that group and all the outreach that they do.
That's great.
That doesn't include attorney's fees, which is typically $5,000 to $10,000 plus. So him smoking a little bit of marijuana during the day, he said he smoked earlier that morning, probably cost him around $12,000 to $15,000.
Gosh, wow.
And now he has a permanent criminal record.
Yep. So episode 29 also ended up being a daytime drug impaired driver.
Yep.
Different reason for stop. This one was, I think the title was "Stay in Your Lane," and it was a failure to maintain lane was my reason for stop.
When I saw you, you were driving with both of your wheels over the white fog line.
Really?
100%. All right. Smoke any weed today? This morning?
Earlier. Yeah,
Earlier?
this morning.
Along with all my traffic stuff, I'm also a drug recognition expert, so it gives me a little bit different insight into drug impairment. But one of the big things is we rely heavily on NHTSA for our driving cues and things that we repeatedly see, or driving movements that we repeatedly see drug impaired drivers doing. One of them is failing to maintain their lane.
Yep.
So that was the reason for stop for this one. Little different reason, but immediately, again, during contact, after having good reasonable suspicion, ended up having, observing no signs and symptoms that are consistent with impairment, and then ended up conducting a drug impaired driving, DUI on the side of the road, placed him under arrest. Again, easy contact. Guy was real respectful, had no issues on camera or off, and he was ultimately cited and released for DUI.
For this particular guy, you see him driving to the right lane, and you walk up to the vehicle. What's the first thing that you actually see?
So I'm looking at his eyelids, looking for ptosis, which is having droopy eyelids, or bloodshot, watery eyes. Having pupils that are abnormally dilated or abnormally constricted, which would be miosis or mydriasis, depending on which one.
How many of those factors did you take into account for this particular individual to determine that he actually was in fact under the influence?
All of them.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything. It's a totality of. In the DRE program, we talk about never hanging your hat on one sign or symptom of impairment. So it's never just, he had bloodshot, watery eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. He's going with me. But the totality of everything paints a picture of impairment.
Whereas a good defense counsel tries to highlight and say, well, you made your decision just based upon droopy eyelids, bloodshot, watery eyes. We see these in all police reports. How could you possibly know that this particular person is impaired? What's your response to that?
Is that it's not just one single factor, but it's a totality of driving, interpersonal contact, psychophysical signs and symptoms, during the field sobriety test battery. And all of those together is what I use to make my arrest, no arrest decision.
I need your driver's license so I know who you are. I am not asking you. I am telling you. Give me your driver's license.
Everybody goes 60 and nobody ever gets pulled over for this.
Okay, I feel like that's a pretty gross generalization spoken from a pulpit of misknowledge. I got you. Step on up over here. What time did you smoke this morning?
I'm pregnant right now. I'm not supposed to be driving. I had to drop him off home.
Okay.
Yeah, I literally live
Wait, you're
right
pregnant?
there.
You're not supposed to be driving?